Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, mainstream media is finally losing patience. They are finally calling out Netanyahu and the Biden administration for what's going on with Israel and the Palestinian people. Take a look.
Meanwhile, President Biden says he was outraged and heartbroken by an Israeli strike that killed 7 World Central Kitchen aid workers in Gaza. I got to tell you, I'm glad the president spoke out strongly, but this has got to stop.
This didn't come out of the blue. As you heard from the White House, you've had roughly 200 aid workers have been killed. Also 20,000 civilians in Gaza. Put aside the Hamas fighters. Let's say approximately 20,000 civilians have been killed. What this says to me is that Israel's approach to the war simply doesn't place enough emphasis on avoiding either aid workers or civilians.
Okay, I'm so sick of hearing how upset President Biden is. The buck stops with him. If he wants to stop arms sales, if he wants to stop the bombs that are indiscriminately killing civilians, he can. He has the power. We don't need him going and his aides going to reporters and talking all background about how upset they are. What happened yesterday is still going to happen. At Mika's conference, the head of the Palestinian Red Crescent spoke, and she was incredibly moving. This was in Abu Dhabi. And she spoke about the difficulty of aid getting in the country, period, from the north or south. And she described a process that was kind of like the TSA changing the rules every single day, going through airport security. Until those checkpoints are working and aid is going through, we don't need to be giving any more arms sale or money. It needs to stop. It needs to be conditional. It's ridiculous that it's going on unchecked and unfettered, and we're sitting around and talking how upset we are while we hemorrhage billions of dollars.
The criticism looks increasingly empty. It's 6 months. We're reaching the 6-month milestone of this war. That's one fact to begin with. And 2 things have happened in the last few days. One is these attacks are continuing. And yet, so are U.S. arms transfers to Israel without conditions. They've been going on for 6 months. Why does Israel need 2,000-pound bombs to be used in high-density populated areas? Then, 10 days ago, what does Israel do? It expropriates 2,000 acres of land in the West Bank for settlement construction. Where is the White House reaction to that?
So, I never thought I'd say this, but I could not agree more with these conservatives. The time for talk and the hand-wringing is over. The Biden administration needs to stop. They need to walk the walk, stop with the talk. The murder of innocent people could not be happening without our assistance. And for anyone who's new here, let me repeat what I've said in the past. What Hamas did in October was unacceptable, unconscionable. It was horrific. It was barbaric. They should be hunted down and destroyed. I also want to reiterate my love for the Israeli people and Jewish people in general. They definitely hold a special place in my heart, especially because of how many vegans are there. I have a great affinity for them. I've mentioned before, I have literally loved Jewish people in the biblical sense. Well, just one, but having said that, you can believe in Israel, the Israeli people, you can be on their side. And on top of that, the slaughter of more than 30,000 Palestinian civilians is not acceptable. There's nothing that anyone can say that will change my mind. So don't waste your time trying. There is no justification for murdering innocent men, women, and children who have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with Hamas. Children are literally starving to death right now. And now we have this very suspicious drone strike on a convoy of humanitarian food trucks from the World Central Kitchen. This does not appear to be a mistake, regardless of how Netanyahu and his alt-right government tries to spin it. The World Central Kitchen repeatedly communicated and coordinated with Israeli forces. Their logo was prominently featured on the top of their vehicles, and yet the IDF hit not 1, not 2, but 3 of their vehicles. They hit one vehicle when some of the passengers lived miraculously in that vehicle. They tried to escape. They got in another vehicle in the convoy. Then that vehicle was struck. Then they moved to a third vehicle, and that vehicle was bombed. So, Jose Andres, which is I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's the very world famous chef. He's the founder of World Central Kitchen. He laid into the Israeli government. He accused them of, quote, using food as a weapon. And he said they are restricting humanitarian aid. His people are there. His people are there on the ground. And one of the people who was murdered by the IDF in this strike was an American citizen, a 33-year-old man with a 1-year-old son at home. This is who you're seeing on your screen right here. This is Jacob Flickinger and his baby boy. And let's be clear, this man is dead because Netanyahu and his soldiers have faced zero consequences for their random murder of innocent people. And members of Netanyahu's government have flat out, blatantly called for the eradication of the Palestinian people. So is it really a stretch to be calling this a genocide? This man's little boy that I showed you, and thousands now of Palestinian children are going to grow up without parents, without a father, without maybe both parents, all because Netanyahu doesn't want to go to prison where he belongs. And his military is either purposely targeting civilians, purposely targeting aid for those civilians, or they're just radically, extremely incompetent. And Biden had a call with Netanyahu today. He supposedly warned him that, we may alter support for Israel if things don't change. You better get it together. But then, according to the Washington Post, the U.S. approved the transfer of thousands of additional bombs to Israel the very same day that the IDF murdered these 7 humanitarian workers. The same day that Biden said he was outraged and heartbroken, we handed them thousands more in bombs. So it is time for Biden to stop talking out of both sides of his mouth. And for anyone thinking, oh my God, you can't say anything negative about Biden, you're just helping Trump. No, sorry, that's BS. Until Biden starts conditioning aid to Israel, or until he stops aiding them altogether, he is the one who's helping Trump. I'm saying these things and bringing this to everyone's attention in hopes we can all raise our voices and pressure him into stopping this insanity. This is a help me help you scenario. I'm not saying this because I want Trump to win. Trump would be worse for the Palestinian people. I know that for a fact. I mean, hell, his son-in-law wants to get rid of everybody and build waterfront property. He has said that they have great beaches. You could build all this waterfront property in Gaza. I mean, these people are sick. But Joe Biden is doing this to himself, and it's ridiculous. He is putting everything on the line for Israel. He is facing the loss of his reelection because of Israel, because of Netanyahu, a man who, let's remember, came over here and talked shit about Obama on our soil. So he is no friend to Democrats. Why are we propping him up? Someone who his own people are right now in the streets yelling and screaming and protesting to get him out, to hold early elections, because he is such a scumbag and literally has been indicted just like Donald Trump. And as soon as he loses power, he knows he's going to prison. So that is why he won't give this up. That's why he wants this war to go on as long as possible. You know, if you want to bring out voters in November, then this needs to change. I hope everyone will stand up and start screaming and shouting and jumping up and down about this before it's too late. So I will let you know if I hear any more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video. Please share it so people know what's going on. Become a subscriber, become a donor if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.